in our last lesson, and we also solved the worksheets related to the heart and circulation. So let's discuss the next topic, which is 30.4, blood vessels and transport today. It is equally interesting like the heart and circulation. We are on page number 864 from your textbook. Okay. So the Quranic verse which is related to the blood vessels and transport is Allah says in the Quran, have you ever thought that when 2-meter headphone wire, okay, the verse is, then which of the favor of your Lord will you deny? Okay, so this is a verse from Surah Rahman, and we can relate it that when 2-meter headphone wire is always twisted, we know how our headphone wires are when we just, of course, we can use our AirPods these days because it doesn't at least have the twisted wire. Okay, so earlier when we were using the headphones, you know how twisted the wire is. That is only 2 meters long. So how come 97,000 kilometers of veins and arteries in a human body, they stay apart, they don't get entangled, and they are never twisted? So it is just an incident or someone actually designed this. Subhanallah. So this is how the human body is designed. Not only one, but all of us, all human beings have the same body structure, and subhanallah, it is how it has been created by Allah. Okay, so this is the verse related to the blood and the blood vessels. The objective for this topic is to explain arteries, veins. Yeah.
Invite Lara, please.
Lara?
Yeah.
Sure. Is Farida in the lesson today? Is it the first one? Lala. Okay. Is it? I believe it is the first one. Okay, I invited her. Alright, the objective for this topic is to describe the structure and functions of different blood vessels like the veins, arteries and the capillaries, which help in transporting blood to all parts of the body, and to differentiate between systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Okay, we are going to discuss what is it actually, and also to describe the effect of lifestyle on the circulatory system. Okay, so these are the objectives for this topic. So before we move ahead, I have a picture on a KWL chart here. Can someone look at it and tell me what is it exactly? It is also labeled for your convenience. What is it, girls? What do you see on the screen here? Anyone? Okay, so this is a picture of your blood vessels. You can see the artery and the vein. What is the function of an artery? It carries the oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body from the heart, and the veins, they carry the oxygen-poor or the deoxygenated blood from the rest of the body to the heart. So that is why you can see the artery in the red and vein in blue color, and you can see the capillaries, which are tiny blood vessels which connect to the arteries and veins. Okay, so these are the 3 types of blood vessels which you can see in this.
Miss?
Yeah.
Miss? Layan Qadi can't join. Can you invite her?
Sure. Which Layan is it?
Layan Qadi.
Layan Qadi, okay. Okay, invited her. Okay. So let's discuss about this topic. The key concept for this topic is the circulatory system. It transports materials throughout the body. So the last time you visited a doctor, you may have had your blood pressure measured, blood pressure checked. You can feel the pulsing of the blood under the cuff on your arm here. Okay, so your blood pressure indicates how hard your heart is working. We have come a long way in our understanding of blood flow. In the 1600s, most scientists, they thought that lungs were responsible for the movement of the blood. Then William Harvey, a court physician to the King of England, he changed the perception with his students. Harvey's work on circulation is regarded as one of the greatest advances in the history of medicine. Okay, so today we came to know that it is heart actually which helps in the circulation. It is heart which pumps this pumps the blood and circulates it. But earlier the scientists used to think it is the lungs which do this one. Fair enough. So let's talk about the arteries, veins, and capillaries that transport blood to all parts of the body. So you know the circulatory system, it includes three types of blood vessels, which are arteries, veins, and capillaries that act as transportation networks for the blood. That means they carry or transport the blood, right? So each of three vessels has its own structure and function. So let's discuss about it. Okay, so let's discuss about the structure of arteries first. So arteries, okay, they can carry blood away from the heart. So the blood is under great pressure. Okay, so this, in order to withhold the pressure, the structure of arteries is made in such a way. Arteries need to be strong and flexible because the blood they carry from the heart is under great pressure. An artery's thick wall, it is composed of three layers. As you can see, these are the three layers which are present in the wall of the artery. The innermost layer, it consists of the endothelium. Can you see this pipe-like structure here? It is the endothelium. It is coated with a protein that prevents blood from clotting. Okay, because these arteries, they carry the blood. So in order to prevent the clotting of the blood, they are also coated with a protein which prevents the blood from clotting. Okay, then the middle layer, you can see this is the middle layer, which is the smooth muscle. It is a thick band of smooth muscle and elastic fibers. Then the outermost layer, it is the connective tissue and elastic fibers. Okay, so the arteries, they are made up of three layers. Why? Because they need to be strong and flexible in order to withhold the pressure of the blood that comes from the heart. So the elastic fibers, they allow the arterial walls to expand and contract to help move blood through the artery. So they are not of the same volume. They can also expand and contract according to the need of how much blood it is being pumped. And arterioles or small arteries, they contain the same three layers, but the outer and middle layers are much thinner. Arterioles are the small capillaries. You can see here, these are the capillaries which connect the artery to the rest of the capillaries. They are known as arterioles, though they also have the same structure like an artery. Now talking about the veins. The structure of the veins, it reflects the fact that blood is under much less pressure when it is returning to the heart. Okay, so arteries, they carry the blood which is oxygenated, and it is under high pressure when it is carried from the heart to the rest of the body. Whereas the veins, the blood, it is collected from the rest of the body and then it is taken to the heart, so it is not under a lot of pressure. Okay, so veins, they have larger diameters and thinner walls than do arteries, and they contain valves that prevent blood from flowing backwards. As you can see, these are the valves which are present in the veins. What do? They help in preventing the blood from flowing backwards. And also you can see the diameter of a vein, it is much larger compared to an artery, and it does not have three layers, but it has only one thin layer and again another layer inside. Okay, and veins, they do not have a thick layer that expands and contracts to keep blood moving. Instead, they need the activity of skeletal muscles to help maintain circulation. So like the arteries, they cannot expand and contract. They are only of one size, though the diameter is more compared to the arteries. So they need the activity of the skeletal muscles, that is the activity of our body, for the blood to pass through the veins. Okay, for example, as you walk, the skeletal muscles in your legs, they push against the veins. The valves open and blood moves through the vein, towards the heart. And if you sit for too long, the lack of exercise makes it harder for the blood to move upward. So venules are small veins that join larger veins to the capillaries. You must have noticed whenever you're sitting in the same place for a long time, or you're not making a large movement of your legs, you get cramps in the legs. Why? Because it is because of these veins. The veins, they cannot contract and expand, and they can carry the blood like the arteries do. They carry the blood only when the skeletal muscle works. That means whenever we are walking, we are doing any action, then the blood moves freely through the veins. Okay, but we are sitting constantly in one position without moving our legs, then we get these cramps because of the blood remaining in the veins. Okay, so we need to move the legs, then again it comes back to normal after some time. Okay, the venule is the small vein which is attached to the capillary. Over here you can see it also has the same structure as the vein. Okay, so this is about the structure of the arteries and the veins. You can see the same information here. The veins, they carry blood back to the heart. The blood is under less pressure, and also thinner walls. The larger diameter is the structure of a vein, and valves, they have valves in order to prevent the backward flow of the blood. So this is how the veins are. Now let's talk about the capillaries. What are capillaries? You can see the network of the thin blood vessels which are connecting the veins and the arteries. These are known as the capillaries. Capillary walls, they are made up of epithelium, but they contain no muscle cells or elastic fibers. Okay, so the thinness of capillary walls allows materials to diffuse into and out of the blood quickly and easily. In areas of high metabolic activity such as lungs, kidneys and liver, capillaries form dense network, as you can see here, called capillary beds. These beds, they move a great deal of blood into and out of these organs. Okay, so this thing which you can see is a network of capillaries. It is known as a capillary bed. It helps in a great deal of blood. It helps in moving the great deal of blood into and out of these organs like kidneys, liver and lungs. Okay, so these are the three types of blood vessels which are present in your body: the arteries, the capillaries and the veins. Is it clear so far, girls? Any doubts?
Yes. No.
Okay, shall we then let's move ahead to the next subtopic, which is circulation and blood pressure. Before that, let me ask you a quick question. Explain why arteries, they do not need valves to keep blood moving in one direction. Why do only veins have valves? Why not the arteries have valves? Can you explain, girls? I just explained you in the structure that the veins, they have valves here to prevent the backflow of the blood, but the arteries, they do not have any valves. Can you explain why? No one?
I think because like in the artery, the blood, like the oxygen-filled blood, like it goes through it. But then in the veins, the blood with no oxygen, it needs to go back to the heart.
Yeah, so what is the reason? We know that it is oxygenated blood which carries through the arteries, and deoxygenated blood is carried back to the heart through the veins. But why do veins have valves and why not in arteries?
So the blood with no oxygen doesn't go back and mix with the other one?
Yeah, great. That is one of the answers. Very good answer. So that the blood, it does not go back and mix with the oxygenated blood. And also the blood in the arteries is under great pressure already. Okay, so which keeps it moving in one direction. It does not come back, because whenever you see something is traveling in a great pressure, it does not come back. Okay, so which keeps it moving in one direction. In arteries, they have muscular walls that contract and relax to move the blood. Okay, so they don't need valves, because obviously there is no backflow of blood because of this muscular contraction and relaxation in the arteries. Whereas veins, there is no contraction and relaxation, as I just told you. Blood flows, and it needs the muscular activity of the animal or the human for the blood to pass through the veins. So there might be a chance of the blood coming back and mixing with the oxygenated blood. That is why there are valves given in the structure of the vein. Isn't it interesting? Okay, thank you so much for that answer. One more interesting information is the coloration of the lips, of your lips, is due to the great number of capillaries found beneath the skin. The capillaries, they are full of oxygenated blood, which gives the lips their reddish color. So if a person is anemic or has lost a great deal of blood, the lips would be quite pale. So lips may appear blue in extreme cold when capillaries constrict and blood loses oxygen. So this is the reason for the various colors of the lips in various conditions. Normally for a healthy person, the lips should be pink because under the lips there are capillaries which carry the oxygenated blood. But most of the anemic people, anemic is the low blood level and also the low hemoglobin levels in the body. Then you can see even the color turns pale, and lips also they look pale. And in polar regions where the temperature is very, very cold, you can observe the lips of the people there they turn blue when they go out in the cold. Why? Because when they go out, the capillaries they constrict and the blood it loses oxygen. That is why the blue color. Clear? Okay, so let's talk about the blood pressure now. So the blood pressure is the force with which blood pushes against the wall of an artery. Okay, so when we are getting our blood pressure checked, what are we getting checked is the force with which the blood it pushes against the wall of the artery. So whenever we are getting our blood pressure checked, we are not checking the blood in the veins, but we are checking the blood arteries, which is the oxygen-rich blood which is flowing. A healthy resting blood pressure for a young adult is around 120 by 70. Okay, so this is the stable blood pressure which you need to have, 120 by 70. Okay, the top and the higher number is known as systolic pressure. As you can see in 120 by 70, this 120, the top and the numerator, it is the systolic pressure. And this is the amount of pressure on the walls of an artery when the left ventricle contracts to pump blood through the body. Okay, then the bottom and the lower number, the denominator, it is the diastolic pressure. This is the pressure in the artery when the left ventricle relaxes. Okay, so this is how they check the blood pressure. The top one is the systolic pressure and the down one is the diastolic pressure. Now what is systolic pressure? It is the amount of pressure on the walls of the arteries when the left ventricle contracts. What is the left ventricle? It is the largest chamber of the heart which pumps the oxygenated blood from the heart into the artery. Okay, so when it contracts, then the pressure taken, it is the systolic pressure. And when it relaxes, the pressure we get, it is the diastolic pressure. Okay, so blood pressure, it depends on how elastic and unblocked the arteries are and on the strength of the heart contraction. The less elastic the arteries and the more blockages that reduce blood flow, the harder the heart must pump. As a result, blood pressure, it rises. Blood pressure also rises naturally with activity, stress, and strong emotions, but it should drop again with rest. Okay, you must have heard of many elderly people complaining that I have BP, I have blood pressure, I have high blood pressure, I have low blood pressure. Okay, so what actually is the condition of a high blood pressure is whenever the heart it does not function properly, if there are blockages in the heart and if the arteries they are not contracting and relaxing as they need to do, then the blood flow it becomes slow and the harder the heart pumps. Okay, so whenever the heart pumps harder, then the blood pressure it increases. This is what happens for the people with high blood pressure. This is one of the reasons and blood pressure it is hereditary. If your parents have, even you might have it. But blood pressure may also increase due to any vigorous activity if you're taking part in sports, or also if you have stress, okay, if you are very depressed about something, or if you have strong emotions. But again, if these emotions are the reason, then it will come back to normal after some time when your mood is back to normal again. Okay, but if you have a condition of a high BP due to the heart not functioning properly or any other reason, then you need to take medicine for it. Okay, if the pressure remains high, there could be a problem in the circulatory system. So it should not be high constantly. It needs to be brought down. So such a condition is checked by the doctors and the medicine is given so that you can bring back the blood pressure to normal. So this is about the high and the low blood pressure. High blood pressure, it can precede a heart attack or a stroke also. Okay, it's very, very important for you to bring back the blood pressure to normal. If it is really high, because it remains high, it may lead to a heart attack or a stroke. So people with permanently high blood pressure, they have a condition called hypertension, which is known as high BP, which can lead to an heart attack or a stroke. So a heart attack occurs when the arteries to the heart muscle are damaged or blocked. A stroke can occur when the blood flow to the brain is interrupted. So most people, they can lower your normal self. You need to return back to a healthy diet, including lots and lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, water, exercise. Okay, so maintaining an unhealthy life. We can solve the worksheets for this topic. So let me quickly summarize. Discuss about the two types of circulatory diseases apart from heart attack and a stroke, which are arteriosclerosis and atherosclerosis, in which there is blockage of the arteries, which can be prevented by doing, this is arteriosclerosis, which you can see, it is a blockage of the heart, and also the atherosclerosis, in which there is blockage because of the plaque formation in the arteries. Of course, it can be removed by either following a healthy lifestyle or by placing a stent or by removing that artery and doing an open heart surgery and replacing it. Okay, so this is about the topic. Let's quickly solve the worksheets. Let me open the worksheets for you. Give me a moment. Okay, this is worksheet 10. It is uploaded on your Teams under week 5, I believe. Okay, and let's quickly solve it. Okay, we also have the answers over here, so you need not worry about the answer key. It is already uploaded at the bottom of the worksheet, so whenever you're solving it or you're doing it as a revision, you may go back down and check the answers and solve the worksheet. Okay, so let's quickly solve it. Question number 1. Dash carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart. Are they arteries or veins or capillaries? Girls? Quickly. What carry blood away from oxygen? Girls, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Please answer. What is question number 1? Answer?
Artery.
Arteries. Excellent. So the answer to question number 1 is arteries. Okay. Number 2. Dash carry oxygen poor blood to the heart. From the body back to the heart. What are they?
Veins.
Veins. Very good. Let me highlight this answer. Answer question number 1, it is arteries, and number 2, it is veins. Perfect. Number 3, unlike arteries and veins, capillaries, they contain no dash or dash. What is it which is absent in the capillaries, unlike arteries and veins? They don't have any muscle cells and elastic fibers. Okay, so this is the answer. We discussed this when we were discussing about the structure of the capillaries. So the answer is they don't have any muscle cells or elastic fibers. Let me highlight the answers. Okay, so these are the answers for question number 3. Number 4. Dash are dense networks that form in areas of high metabolic activity, including lungs, kidneys, and liver. What are they? Girls? Dense network of capillaries are known as capillary beds. Okay, capillary beds is the answer. They are the dense networks that form in areas of high metabolic activities, especially in organs like lungs, kidneys, and liver. Number 5, when a doctor takes your blood pressure, he or she is measuring the force of dash pushing against the wall of a dash. What is he checking? He is checking the force of the blood which is pushing against the wall of the artery or vein?
Arteries.
Arteries. Very good. So the answers to question number 5 are blood and artery. Please write down the answers. Number 6 is pressure created when the left ventricle contracts is. What is the pressure? Is it systolic pressure or diastolic pressure? When the left ventricle contracts and the blood is pumped into the artery. It is systolic pressure, the numerator. Okay, then what is the pressure created when left ventricle relaxes? Girls? It is the diastolic pressure. Okay, so these two pressures are checked in order to get your BP, and they are calculated like a fraction. The blood pressure increases if there are blockages in the artery, if the vessels have lost dash, or if the heart is weakened. If the vessels have lost what? Elasticity. Or if the heart has weakened, then it might lead to blockages in the heart. Elasticity. Okay, so this is the answer. Number 9, permanent high blood pressure called dash can result in a heart attack or stroke. What is it known as permanent high blood pressure?
Hypertension.
Hypertension. Excellent. Hypertension is the answer. It might lead to heart attacks or strokes. Okay, the time is up. The rest of the worksheet and the MCQ worksheet we shall solve in the next lesson, and we shall start the next topic, which is blood. Okay girls, I'm saving the answers. They will also be saved in your worksheet uploaded on Teams.